Welcome, dear listener, to Whispers of the Night. Tonight, we drift together into a gentle reimagining of a world you may already know, a place where curiosity moves slower than raindrops, and wonder is as soft as velvet shadows. Here, you will wander gardens where roses speak, sip tea that bends time, and follow a smile that lingers in the air long after it fades. You need not stay awake to hear the end. The story will wait for you, patiently, even in your dreams. So settle in, let your thoughts loosen. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and gently release it through your mouth. Again, inhale calm and exhale the day. Allow your breathing to settle into a soft, natural rhythm. With each breath out, feel your body sinking just a little deeper into the surface beneath you. Let your feet relax, your ankles and calves grow heavy, your knees soften, your thighs release their effort, your stomach rises and falls easily now. No tension, no holding. Let your chest feel open and light, your shoulders drifting downward, away from your ears. Now imagine a quiet forest at night, cool air, gentle shadows, and a deep, steady calm surrounding you. With every breath, you feel safer, slower, and more at ease. When you are ready, allow the story to carry you further as you drift naturally toward rest. Echoes from the emerald forest, the forest that breathes. Siluara. Loon stepped beyond the last thinning line of ordinary trees and into the emerald forest at the moment when twilight began to soften the world. The sky above her shifted slowly from pale blue to deepening indigo, as if the day itself were exhaling after a long vigil. The light did not disappear, it settled, filtering gently through layers of leaves and branches until everything felt hushed and attentive. Behind her, the open path faded into silence. Ahead, the forest waited, alive in a way that did not demand attention but quietly invited it. She paused at the threshold, allowing the forest to sense her presence before she moved any farther. The air felt cooler here, thick with the scent of damp earth, moss, and something faintly sweet that she could never name. It brushed against her skin like a familiar touch, easing tension she had not realized she carried. The emerald forest never rushed those who entered it. It breathed slowly, deeply, and asked nothing more than that its visitors listen. Silvora closed her eyes and drew in a breath. The forest answered. Leaves whispered above her, brushing against one another in murmurs too soft to be called sound, and too deliberate to be dismissed as chants. Beneath her feet, hidden roots hummed faintly through the soil, carrying a low resonance that traveled upward through the ground and into her bones. Deeper still, beneath both sound and silence, there pulsed a steady rhythm, ancient and calm, Like a heart that had never known haste, she exhaled. Somewhere around her, branches shifted, bark creaked softly, and the forest seemed to release its own breath in response. Whether she followed the forest's rhythm or the forest followed hers no longer mattered. The exchange felt mutual, natural, and complete. When Silvara opened her eyes, the emerald forest revealed itself in layered detail. Towering trunks rose. Around her, thick with age and wrapped in moss that glowed faintly as twilight deepened. Their bark bore the marks of countless seasons' lines, curves, and scars that spoke of storms weathered and time endured. High above, the canopy interlaced into a living ceiling, filtering the remaining daylight into shades of green and silver that shimmered gently as the leaves stirred. She stepped forward, her movement slow and deliberate. The forest floor welcomed, her weight yielding slightly beneath her boots, cushioned by layers of fallen leaves and soft moss. Each step felt acknowledged, as if the ground itself took note of her presence and approved. Silvara did not hurry. Here, haste felt unnecessary, even unnatural. As she moved deeper, the sounds of the forest grew richer and more distinct. Somewhere, nearby, water flowed with patient persistence, its voice weaving through the trees like a distant melody. Insects began their evening chorus, each tone finding its place without overpowering another. Nothing competed for attention. Everything belonged. She brushed her fingers lightly against the trunk of a nearby tree as she passed. The bark felt warm beneath the moss, alive with a subtle vibration that traveled through her hand and settled gently behind her ribs. Silvara smiled, the expression small and unguarded. This was why she came here, not to escape the world beyond the forest, but to remember how it felt to exist without resistance. The path narrowed, curving gently, as if guiding rather than directing. Her roots arched across the ground like natural bridges, and she stepped over them with ease, never breaking her rhythm. Above her, the leaves whispered again, their sound deepening as twilight thickened. Silvara inclined her head slightly, a gesture of quiet acknowledgement, and continued onward. She reached a small clearing where the trees stood back just enough to allow the sky a voice. Twilight painted it in gradients of violet and blue, the first stars emerging shyly, one by one. Pale fireflies blinked awake at the edges of the clearing, their light hesitant at first, then steady, like memories returning. Silvara lowered herself onto a stone, softened by moss, and rested her hands loosely in her lap. Time loosened its hold. Her thoughts drifted without urgency. Memories surfaced gently, softened by the forest's presence. Old worries lost their sharpness here, their edges worn smooth by the steady breathing around her. The forest did not erase what she carried. It held those thoughts until they no longer demanded attention. A breeze stirred, carrying the scent of distant rain, though. The sky remained clear. Leaves responded with a collective sigh, and Silvara felt the motion echo through her own breath. Inhale, exhale. The forest breathed. She breathed. The boundary between them thinned until it felt almost imagined. She rose again and resumed her walk, guided by familiarity rather than direction. Shadows lengthened across the path, soft and blue, stretching without menace. Fireflies gathered more boldly now, drifting in lazy arcs that illuminated pockets of bark, leaf, and air. Their glow reflected faintly in Silvara's calm emerald eyes, though she did not focus on them. They were simply part of the conversation. As she walked, the humming beneath the soil grew clearer, a steady undertone anchoring every other sound. It reminded her of a heartbeat, not fast, not slow, but enduring. She imagined the roots below, entwined far beneath the surface, sharing nourishment and memory through silent networks older than language. The forest was not merely a place, it was a presence. Silvara slowed until she stopped once more, placing her palm against her chest. Her own heart beat steadily there, responsive and unafraid. The forest welcomed her, not as a visitor, but as a returning note in a long, continuous song. She did not speak. Listening was enough. The light faded further. Yet the forest did not darken. Instead, it shifted, revealing new layers, soft glows along moss-covered stones, pale reflections on distant leaves, the quiet shimmer of dew forming where none had been moments before. Sound softened and stretched, deepening into something almost tangible. The world seemed to release one long breath, and Silvara followed, letting her thoughts thin until they barely existed at all. Eventually, the path dissolved entirely, giving way to open forest floor. Here, the breathing of the forest felt closest, as though the air itself moved in visible waves. Silvara stepped into the space and turned slowly, taking it in. Small, yet not diminished, she was one breath among many, and that was enough. She settled onto the earth, folding her legs beneath her and resting her hands against the moss. The ground was cool and kind. Above her, the canopy swayed gently in response to unseen currents. Below, the hum continued, unwavering and patient. Silvara closed her eyes once more. The emerald forest breathed, and for a long, unbroken while, so did she, held within its rhythm, grounded within its pulse, and welcomed completely into its living silence. Whispers in the canopy, Silvara Loon rested beneath the towering emerald boughs where the forest thickened into a living roof, and the sky became a distant presence rather than an open companion. Here, the canopy folded over itself in layers of leaf and branch, forming a shelter that felt both vast and intimate. Light filtered through in softened fragments, breaking into gentle patterns that drifted across the ground like slow-moving water. The air was cooler beneath the trees, rich with the scent of bark, sap, and lingering moisture from rains long past. She leaned back against the broad roots of an ancient tree, their surface worn smooth by time and covered in velvety moss. The roots curved protectively around her, forming a natural cradle that invited stillness. Silvara allowed her shoulders to relax and her breathing to deepen, surrendering to the forest's quiet embrace. Above her, the canopy stirred, and the whispers began. At first, they were almost indistinguishable from the rustle of leaves. A soft brushing sound moved through the branches, rising and falling in gentle waves. But as Silvara listened more closely, the sound took on texture and shape. as though the forest were speaking in a language older than words. Each whisper carried an impression rather than a meaning, a sensation rather than a sentence. She heard the memory of rain. It drifted through the canopy as a faint, echoing patter, recalling countless storms that had passed through these trees. Not the violence of thunder or the urgency of heavy downpours, but the patient persistence of rain that had fallen leaf by leaf, season after season. The sound carried the coolness of water soaking into soil, the quiet satisfaction of roots drinking deeply, the gentle tapping of droplets sliding from leaf to leaf until they disappeared into the earth. Silvara imagined standing beneath those rains, feeling them trace slow paths down her skin, washing away dust and heat and worry. The memory did not belong solely to her. It belonged to the forest, and it offered itself freely, asking nothing in return. The whispers shifted, and the rain gave way to wind. High above, branches swayed in long, graceful arcs, their movement sending ripples through the canopy. The sound deepened into a low, continuous murmur, like breath drawn slowly through open space. This wind carried the weight of time within it, the countless moments it had passed through these trees, bending them without breaking, shaping their growth with invisible hands. Silvara felt the wind's memory settle into her chest. It reminded her of motion without urgency, of travel without destination. The forest had known migration long before footsteps marked its path, seeds carried on air, leaves released from branches, scents drifting unseen from one place to another. Everything moved, and yet nothing was lost. She tilted her head slightly, listening more deeply, allowing the sounds to flow through her rather than around her. The whispers grew richer now, layered with impressions of ancient seasons. She sensed summers heavy with warmth and light when the canopy thickened and the forest hummed with life. She sensed winters too, quieter and more restrained, when the trees stood bare and the earth rested. Beneath frost and silence, these seasons passed through the whispers, not as separate moments, but as a continuous cycle, endlessly turning. The forest remembered them all, holding each one without preference or regret. Silvara felt something within her ease at that realization. There was comfort in continuity, in knowing that change did not mean loss, only transformation. She closed her eyes without sight. The whispers seemed closer, as though the canopy leaned down to speak directly into her thoughts. The sounds wove together into a slow, steady rhythm, neither loud nor faint, but perfectly balanced. It was not a song in the way humans understood music, yet it carried a melody, all the same, a lullaby shaped by wind, rain, and time. Silvara listened without fear. There was no urgency in the forest's voice, no demand for attention or response. It spoke because speaking was part of its breathing, just as listening was part of hers. The whispers washed over her, smoothing the edges of her thoughts, loosening the quiet knots she carried within herself. She felt her pulse slow, her breath deepen. The world beyond the forest, its noise, its expectations, its sharpness faded into something distant and unreal. Here, beneath the emerald canopy, nothing asked her to be more than she was. A single leaf drifted down from above, spiraling lazily through the air before coming to rest beside her. Its surface was etched with veins like delicate threads, each one a record of nourishment and light. Silvara reached out and brushed her fingers against it, feeling its fragile resilience. Even in falling, it belonged. The whispers shifted again, this time carrying something warmer, more intimate. She sensed laughter woven into the sound, not the bright, sudden laughter of voices, but a softer echo, like the memory of joy lingering. Long after the moment had passed, it reminded her of sunlight breaking through clouds, of warmth felt rather than seen. How many lives had rested beneath this canopy, listening as she did now? How many fears had been softened here? How many hearts steadied by these same murmurs? The forest did not distinguish between them. It welcomed all with equal patience. Silvara leaned more fully into the roots at her back, feeling their solid presence anchor her. Above her, the canopy breathed, its movement subtle but constant. The whispers rose and fell in time with that breath, creating a rhythm that guided her inward. Thoughts came and went without clinging. Worries loosened their grip, drifting away like mist lifted by morning light. She became aware of the spaces between sounds, the quiet pauses that gave shape to the whispers. In those spaces, she felt an even deeper peace, a stillness that did not feel empty but full. It was the stillness of soil before growth, of night before dawn, of rest before renewal. The forest seemed to sense her surrender to its rhythm. The whispers softened further, becoming almost imperceptible, as if they trusted her now to carry the lullaby within herself. Silvara's breathing matched the canopy's slow sway. Inhale, exhale. Each breath felt like a gentle exchange rather than a necessity. Time lost its edges. Minutes and hours became irrelevant beneath the emerald boughs. There was only the present moment, stretching comfortably in all directions. Silvara felt held within it, suspended in a state of quiet belonging. A faint shimmer of light filtered through the leaves as the sky beyond the canopy shifted, though she did not open her eyes to see it. The forest adjusted seamlessly, its whispers adapting to the subtle change without breaking their rhythm. Everything here knew how to move together. She thought of the word home, and for once it did not feel complicated. Home was not a place she needed to reach or return to. It was a state of being, and here, beneath the whispering canopy, she inhabited it fully. The murmurs continued, now so gentle they felt like a caress rather than a sound. Silvara let herself drift within them, allowing her awareness to soften. Around the edges, the forest did not demand sleep, but it invited rest, and she accepted without resistance. Eventually, even the whispers faded into a shared silence. Not an absence, but a fullness so complete that sound was no longer necessary. Silvara remained beneath the canopy, calm and unafraid. Wrapped in the lullaby of belonging the forest had woven round her. In that quiet, she understood something, without needing to name it. The emerald forest listened as much as it spoke. It heard her stillness, her calm, her willingness to be present. And in that mutual listening, peace settled gently, like a final leaf finding its place upon the earth. The crystal stream's lullaby. Silvara followed the gentle melody without questioning where it came from, trusting the way it threaded itself through the forest like a familiar path. It was not a sound she heard with her ears alone, but something that seemed to rise from the ground and drift through the air at the same time, subtle and persistent. With each step she took, the melody grew clearer, shaping itself into a presence that guided her forward. The emerald forest opened around her, as if aware of her destination, branches parting just enough to allow her passage, roots easing their hold on the path beneath her feet. The light had fully surrendered to night now, but the forest was far from dark. Moonlight spilled softly through breaks in the canopy, catching on leaves and moss and turning them into quiet reflections of silver and deep green. Fireflies hovered in unhurried patterns, their glow gentle and steady, as though they too were listening to the distant song. Silvara's pace slowed, not from fatigue, but from a growing sense of reverence. The melody carried calm within it, and she felt no urge to hurry toward it. As she moved deeper, the air changed. It grew cooler and fresher, touched with a faint, mineral scent that hinted at water nearby. The ground beneath her feet became smoother, the forest floor sloping gently downward. The melody sharpened slightly, resolving into something clearer and more defined, though still soft. It reminded her of chimes heard from far away, their tones overlapping and dissolving into one another before they could fully form. When she reached the edge of the stream, she stopped. Before her, water flowed in a narrow, winding ribbon, crystal clear and luminous beneath the moonlight. The surface shimmered as it moved, reflecting the sky and canopy in broken fragments that danced and reassembled with each ripple. Smooth stones lined the stream's bed, their shapes softened by countless years of patient flow. Moss clung to their edges, glowing faintly where moonlight touched it, and delicate ferns leaned toward the water as though drawn by its quiet energy. The melody revealed itself fully then, no longer distant, but present and complete. The stream sang as it moved, its voice composed of overlapping tones created by water slipping over stone, curving around bends, and deepening briefly where the current slowed. Each sound echoed softly, like chimes stirred by an unseen hand. The rhythm was neither fast nor slow, but perfectly measured, carrying a sense of balance that settled instantly into Silvara's chest. She stepped closer, careful not to disturb the water's flow. The stream did not react to her presence, continuing its song without pause or change, as if it trusted her to listen without interfering. Silvara felt gratitude rise within her, quiet and unspoken. She had learned long ago that the forest offered its gifts most freely to those who received without grasping. She lowered herself onto a smooth stone at the stream's edge, arranging herself comfortably. The coolness of the rock seeped gently through her clothing, grounding her in the present moment. She rested her hands loosely in her lap and allowed her shoulders to relax. The forest seemed to draw closer around her, branches leaning inward, fireflies drifting nearer, as though the stream's lullaby invited everything to listen. Silvara focused on the water's movement. She watched the way the current curved around obstacles without resistance, how it adapted effortlessly to every change in its path. Where stones interrupted its flow, the water did not stop or struggle. It simply divided, reunited, and continued onward, its song never breaking. The sight stirred something within her, a recognition that felt both comforting and instructive. Her thoughts, which often moved in sharp lines and heavy loops beyond the forest, began to soften. The stream's rhythm gave them a new shape, rounding their edges, slowing their pace. Worries surfaced briefly, then drifted away, carried by the water's steady motion. She did not push them aside. She let the stream do what it had always done, carry what was given to it, and move on. The moon climbed higher, brightening the water until it seemed almost luminous. Reflections trembled across the surface, fragments of light breaking and reforming with each passing ripple. So felt as though she were sitting beside a living mirror, one that did not show her image but reflected her state of being. The calmer she became, the smoother the water appeared. The more she released, the more clearly it flowed. She leaned forward slightly and dipped her fingers into the stream. The water was cold, but not unkind. It closed around her skin gently, slipping between her fingers as if curious. The contact sent a quiet thrill up her arm, not sharp but clarifying, like the feeling of waking after deep rest. When she withdrew her hand, droplets clung briefly to her skin before falling back into the current, rejoining the song without disruption. The sound deepened as night settled fully into the forest. Insects added their faint voices to the background, but even they seemed to follow the stream's rhythm, their tones rising and falling in harmony. Somewhere farther away, an owl called once, then fell silent, as if unwilling to interrupt the lullaby. The forest listened with her. Silvara closed her eyes. Without sight, the stream's song expanded. She could feel it more than hear it now, vibrating gently through the ground, through the stone beneath her, through her own body. Each note seemed to settle somewhere inside her, loosening tension she had not known how to release. The worries she carried, old ones, quiet ones, deeply hidden ones, surfaced briefly in her awareness, then softened, dissolving like reflections. Disturbed by a passing ripple, she breathed slowly, matching her breath to the water's pace. Inhale, smooth and unforced. Exhale, long and complete. The stream responded, or perhaps she responded to it. The distinction no longer mattered. The exchange felt mutual, like a shared understanding rather than a cause and effect. Images drifted through her mind, not as memories demanding attention, but as gentle impressions. She saw herself walking unfamiliar paths, standing at uncertain thresholds, carrying questions without answers. Each image touched the stream and changed, becoming lighter, less burdened. The water accepted them all without judgment, carrying them forward into places she did not need to see. She felt herself settle more deeply into stillness. The forest seemed to adjust around her, drawing closer without crowding, offering presence without expectation. Fireflies hovered near the water now, their glow reflecting in tiny sparks across the stream's surface. Mist rose faintly where the current slowed, catching moonlight and turning it into a soft veil that blurred the edges of the world. Time stretched, unmeasured and unimportant. Silvara could not have said how long she sat there, listening. It felt both brief and endless, a moment that expanded comfortably in all directions. The stream's song continued without variation, patient and faithful, as though it had always been waiting for her to arrive. She opened her eyes again and watched the water with renewed clarity. Each ripple seemed purposeful, each curve intentional. The stream did not hurry toward its destination, nor did it linger unnecessarily. It existed fully in its movement, complete in each moment of flow. Silvara felt a quiet understanding settle within her. She did not need to resolve everything. Tonight, she did not need to know where every path would lead. Like the stream, she could move forward, one gentle curve at a time. A sense of gratitude filled her chest, warm and steady. She did not direct it toward any single thing, but toward the moment itself, the forest, the water, the quiet companionship of listening. The emerald forest had offered her another gift, not in words or visions, but in rhythm and rest. As the night deepened, the stream's song softened, becoming quieter but no less present. It seemed to draw inward, encouraging stillness rather than attention. Silvara felt her eyelids grow heavier, her thoughts slowing further, stretching out like shadows beneath moonlight. She shifted slightly on the stone, finding a position that allowed her body to relax completely. The water continued to flow, its lullaby unwavering. It did not demand that she stay awake to listen. It trusted the song to remain, whether she heard it consciously or not. Silvara allowed herself to surrender to that trust, letting the stream carry her awareness into a gentler state in that moment. Sitting beside the crystal-clear water, glowing softly under the moon, she felt unburdened. The worries she had brought with her no longer pressed against her thoughts. They had been eased, not erased, carried into quieter currents where they could rest. The stream sang on patient and eternal, and Silvara listened until listening itself became rest. Lanterns of firefly light. Night deepened gently within the emerald forest, not as a sudden fall into darkness, but as a slow, careful settling, like a blanket drawn up with intention. The last traces of twilight dissolved into the canopy, leaving behind a world shaped by moonlight and shadow. The air grew cooler, softer, and more deliberate, carrying the quiet promise of rest. Silvara Loon moved forward along a narrow forest path, her steps unhurried, her presence light, as though she were part of the night's natural unfolding around her. The forest breathed, the sound was subtle, almost imperceptible, yet unmistakable once felt. Leaves shifted and stilled in a rhythm that echoed a slow inhale and exhale. The trunks of ancient trees seemed to expand and settle, their vast forms alive with patient awareness. Beneath the soil, roots rested and stirred, exchanging unseen messages through the dark. Silvara felt the rhythm within herself, her breath easing to match the forest's calm pulse. Then the fireflies rose. At first, they appeared one by one, small points of golden light flickering into existence near the ground. They hovered briefly, uncertain, before lifting gently into the air. Soon, more followed, drifting upward in slow, graceful arcs until the forest was filled with them. They moved like floating lanterns, their glow warm and steady, neither sharp nor blinding, but soft enough to soothe the eyes and steady the heart. Silvara slowed her pace, watching them gather. Their light reflected faintly off the bark of trees and the glossy surfaces of leaves, revealing details the darkness alone would have hidden. Moss shimmered in muted greens, Ferns cast delicate shadows that swayed with the firefly's motion. The forest seemed to awaken into a new kind of visibility, one shaped not by clarity, but by comfort. A soft hum accompanied the firefly's rise. It was not loud nor insistent, but present, blending seamlessly with the forest's breathing. The sound felt less like noise and more like vibration, a gentle resonance that settled into Silvara's chest and spread outward. It reminded her of distant lullabies, half-remembered and deeply familiar, carrying warmth without demanding attention. She walked among the fireflies, careful not to disrupt their drifting paths. They did not scatter at her presence. Instead, they adjusted, flowing around her as water flows around stone. A few hovered close, their light brushing softly against her hands and sleeves before floating away again. Their warmth was subtle, more felt than measured, like the lingering heat of sunlight after dusk. Silvara felt something within her ease further. The forest no longer felt vast and unknown, but intimate and protective. Each tree stood like a silent guardian. Each shadow felt intentional, placed to comfort rather than conceal. The firefly's lantern-like glow stitched the space together, turning open darkness into a gently lit sanctuary. As she moved deeper, the path beneath her feet softened. Moss thickened, cushioning each step, and the ground felt receptive rather than firm. Silvara allowed herself to walk more slowly, savoring the sensation of being held by the forest rather than simply passing through it. Her shoulders lowered, her hands relaxed at her sides. Even her thoughts seemed to move with less urgency. The fireflies continued their quiet ascent, some rising into the canopy, others hovering low near the forest floor. Their movement was unhurried, purposeful, without being directed. Silvara sensed that they followed no single leader, no strict pattern. Yet together they formed a gentle order that felt deeply reassuring. Everything here knew its place without needing instruction. She lifted her gaze, watching the lanterns drift upward between branches. The canopy above appeared transformed, no longer a dark ceiling, but a layered sky of leaves and light. Fireflies wove between the branches like slow-moving stars, their glow reflecting softly in Silvara's calm emerald eyes. For a moment, she felt as though she were walking through a dream shaped by kindness. The hum deepened slightly, blending more fully with the forest's breath. It rose and fell in a rhythm that guided her steps, encouraging her onward without hurry. Silvara did not question where the path led. The forest had guided her before, and it had never led her astray. Trust came easily here, carried on the same currents as the firefly's light. She passed a cluster of ancient trees whose roots rose from the ground like folded arms. Fireflies gathered there in greater numbers, their glow illuminating the twisted shapes and softening their shadows. The roots seemed less imposing in the warm light, their age transformed into reassurance rather than weight. Silvara brushed her fingers lightly against one as she passed, feeling its steady presence beneath the moss. Warmth spread through her chest, gentle and sustained. It was not the warmth of heat, but of belonging. The forest did not merely surround her, it welcomed her, enfolding her in a quiet companionship that asked nothing in return. She felt safe in a way that required no explanation, as though the forest itself stood watch while she rested within its care. The further she walked, the more the outside world faded. There were no sharp thoughts here, no pressing concerns, no echoes of urgency. Each step carried her deeper into a state of ease. The firefly's lanterns guided her not forward in distance, but inward toward stillness. She paused in a small clearing where the fireflies gathered densely, their light pooling like liquid gold. The ground beneath her glowed faintly, and the air felt warmer, gentler. Silvara stood quietly, turning slowly, allowing herself to take in the scene. The forest felt close here, attentive, as though it were observing her with the same calm curiosity she offered it. The hum softened, becoming almost indistinguishable from silence. Yet it remained present, a thread connecting sound and stillness. Silvara matched her breathing to it without effort. Inhale, exhale. Each breath felt like a conversation completed rather than a need fulfilled. She felt guided now, not by direction, but by sensation. The forest seemed to suggest rest, not as an instruction, but as an invitation. The fireflies drifted lower, their lantern-like glow forming a gentle corridor through the clearing. Silvara followed instinctively, her steps light. Her awareness relaxed. As she moved, memories surfaced briefly, then faded. Not sharp memories, but impressions, long days, quiet worries, moments of uncertainty. Each one passed through the glow of the fireflies and softened, losing its weight. The forest accepted them all, transforming their edges into something manageable, something gentle. Silvara sensed that the firefly's light was not meant to illuminate the way forward alone, but to signal safety. They moved as if reassuring her that nothing here would harm her, that the night itself was a companion rather than an obstacle. The forest did not fear the darkness. It lived within it, shaped by it, comforted by it. She slowed again, feeling the pull towards stillness grow stronger. The fireflies hovered closer now, their glow forming a loose halo around her. Their hum blended seamlessly with the forest's breath, and together they created a soundscape so balanced it felt almost like silence perfected. The canopy above swayed gently, responding to currents Silvara could not feel directly. Leaves brushed against one another, releasing soft whispers that drifted downward and dissolved into the hum. Everything moved together. Guided by an unseen harmony, Silvara found a place where the ground dipped slightly, sheltered by low branches, and framed by moss-covered stones. Fireflies gathered there in quiet abundance, their lantern-like light pooling warmly. She stepped into the space and stopped, feeling the forest's attention settle around her like a protective circle. She did not sit yet. Instead, she stood quietly, allowing the warmth and safety to sink deeper. Her body felt lighter, as though tension had slowly been unfastened and set aside. Her thoughts drifted lazily, no longer pressing for resolution. The forest's guidance became clear in sensation rather than direction. This was a place to pause, to rest, to let the night finish its gentle work. Silvara lowered herself slowly, settling onto the moss-covered ground. The earth was cool but welcoming, its softness shaped by time and care. Fireflies hovered nearby, their glow steady and kind. The hum softened further, becoming a barely there vibration that lulled rather than engaged. She rested her hands loosely at her sides and tilted her face slightly upward. The lanterns of firefly light drifted above her, slow and unhurried, as though keeping watch. The forest breathed around her, deep and even, and Silvara followed its rhythm without thinking, wrapped in warmth, guided by glow. held by the living night, she felt herself drift closer to rest. The emerald forest had led her gently, step by step, into this quiet sanctuary. And now it remained with her, listening, breathing, and keeping the darkness soft. The fireflies continued to rise and fall like lanterns in a dream, and Silvara remained among them, safe, calm, and ready to surrender to stillness. The hollow of gentle dreams. Silvara moved deeper into the emerald forest as the night continued its slow, deliberate settling. The lantern-like glow of fireflies gradually thinned, their gentle light fading behind her as if trusting the forest itself to carry her the rest of the way. The air grew quieter here, not empty of sound, but carefully composed, as though every noise had learned to speak more softly. Each step felt guided, not by sight, but by a subtle pull within her chest that led her forward without urgency. The ground beneath her feet began to slope gently downward. Roots emerged from the soil in winding patterns, thick and ancient, their surfaces smoothed by time and moss. They curved upward and inward, intertwining in a way that suggested intention rather than chance. Silvara slowed, sensing that she had reached a place shaped by patience and memory. The forest seemed to hold its breath, inviting her closer. She stepped carefully between the roots, following the natural opening they formed. Inside, the space widened into a hidden hollow, sheltered on all sides by the vast, protective embrace of ancient trees. Their roots arched overhead and along the ground, forming a living enclosure that felt both intimate and secure. The outside forest seemed to recede, its presence softened, filtered through layers of wood and earth. The sounds changed immediately. What had once been whispers of leaves and distant night creatures softened into something slower, deeper. The forest's breath here was more pronounced, each inhale and exhale stretching gently through the hollow like a tide. Beneath it all, a steady rhythm pulsed faintly, low and reassuring, reminiscent of a heartbeat heard from far away. It was not loud enough to demand attention, but constant enough to anchor the senses. Silvara paused at the edge of the hollow, allowing herself to feel its presence fully before entering. The air was warmer here, carrying the subtle scent of damp earth and old wood. It wrapped around her like a familiar shawl, easing her shoulders and slowing her breath without effort. She felt as though she had stepped into a place designed for rest, shaped over centuries to offer exactly this kind of quiet. She moved forward and settled within the hollow, her steps nearly silent on the moss-thick ground. The roots overhead filtered the moonlight into soft patterns that shifted slowly, creating gentle shadows that never startled or sharpened. Everything here seemed rounded, smoothed, softened by time. There were no harsh edges, no sudden movements, only gradual transitions that invited stillness as she came to rest near the center of the hollow. The heartbeat-like rhythm became more noticeable. It did not originate from a single source, but seemed woven into the space itself, as if the earth beneath her and the roots around her shared the same pulse. Silvara felt it echo faintly within her chest, and without conscious effort, her own heartbeat began to slow, aligning gently with the forest's rhythm. She lowered herself onto the ground, settling back against a curved root that cradled her comfortably. The surface was cool but not cold, its texture softened by layers of moss and thyme. The earth beneath her felt steady, supportive, as though it had been waiting for her arrival. Silvara allowed her hands to rest loosely in her lap, her body instinctively finding a position of ease. The sounds within the hollow continued to soften. Distant echoes drifted through the roots, faint and indistinct, like memories rather than active noise. They rose and fell gently, never forming words, never demanding understanding. Instead, they carried the sense of something vast and enduring, reminding her that the forest had known countless nights like this, countless moments of rest and renewal. Her thoughts slowed, unraveling from their usual patterns. There was no need to follow them, no urgency to resolve or revisit anything. Each thought appeared briefly, then dissolved into the hollow's quiet, absorbed without judgment. The forest seemed to listen without expectation, accepting everything and holding on to nothing. The rhythm deepened slightly, steady and reassuring. Silvara felt it beneath her, around her, within her. It was the sound of roots drawing water, of soil settling, of the forest maintaining itself in silence. The hollow became a cocoon, its walls not confining but protective, shaping a space where nothing was required of her. She tilted her head back slightly, gazing at the faint patterns of moonlight filtering through the roots overhead. The light moved slowly, almost imperceptibly, tracing gentle arcs that mirrored the rhythm below. Her eyelids felt heavy, but she did not fight the sensation. There was no need to stay alert here. The forest was awake for her. A distant echo passed through the hollow, softer than before, like a sound remembered rather than heard. It carried no meaning, only reassurance. Silvara's breathing deepened, lengthening naturally, each inhale filling her chest fully, each exhale releasing tension. She had not realized she was carrying. Time felt different here. Moments stretched and softened, losing their sharp edges. There was no clear sense of before or after, only a continuous present shaped by breath and sound. The hollow held her gently within this suspension, allowing her to drift without direction. The heartbeat-like rhythm remained constant, never hurried, never fading. It guided her deeper into relaxation, her muscles loosening one by one. Her hands grew warm against the moss, her shoulders sinking slightly as the earth received her weight. Even her thoughts seemed to rest, settling into stillness alongside her body. Silvara felt safe in a way that went beyond awareness. It was not the safety of vigilance or preparation, but the safety of trust. The forest did not merely surround her, it supported her, its ancient roots forming a boundary that kept the outside world at a gentle distance. Nothing intruded here, nothing demanded. The echoes softened further, becoming little more than impressions. The forest's breath slowed, stretching each pause between inhale and exhale just a bit longer. Silvara found herself drifting between wakefulness and sleep, her awareness floating lightly, unanchored by thought or worry. Images surfaced briefly behind her closed eyes, not vivid or insistent, but soft and dreamlike. Flickers of moonlight through leaves, the glow of fireflies, the quiet movement of water. Each image faded as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind a sense of calm rather than memory. The hollow seemed to respond to her drifting state, its sounds adjusting subtly, growing even more muted. The heartbeat rhythm remained, but it felt farther away now, like something heard through layers of comfort. The forest's breath became a background presence, steady and reliable. Silvara's body grew heavier, more relaxed, as though the earth were gently drawing her closer. She shifted slightly, finding a position that felt perfectly natural, her movements slow and unforced. The root at her back curved protectively, supporting her without pressure. The cocoon of tranquility closed more fully around her. Outside sounds faded almost entirely, leaving only the essential rhythms that anchored her in rest. The hollow held her within its ancient design, a space carved by time for moments exactly like this, her breathing synchronized completely with the forest now, each breath rising and falling in harmony with the rhythms around her. There was no separation between her and the hollow, no boundary between her body and the earth beneath it. She felt herself becoming part of the forest's quiet cycle, resting as the roots rested, breathing as the soil breathed. Thoughts no longer formed, awareness softened into sensation alone. Warmth, steadiness, the faint pulse of life moving slowly and endlessly. The hollow did not demand sleep, but it invited it gently, offering a place where drifting was enough. Silvara surrendered to the invitation. Her consciousness slipped deeper, carried by the steady rhythms and distant echoes. The cocoon held firm, its ancient roots guarding the stillness within. The forest continued its slow, patient breathing, listening as she drifted toward dreams shaped by earth and silence. Within the hollow of gentle dreams, Silvara rested completely, wrapped in tranquility, her presence blending seamlessly with the ancient calm of the emerald forest. When dawn listens back, the night began to loosen its hold on the emerald forest long before the sky showed any sign of change. It happened quietly, almost imperceptibly, as though the darkness itself had decided to soften rather than retreat. Deep within the hollow of ancient roots, Silvara Loon remained still, her body resting in perfect harmony with the earth beneath her. The forest continued to breathe, but its rhythm grew longer, slower, each pause between breaths stretching gently, preparing for something new. The echoes that had once drifted through the roots began to fade. They did not disappear suddenly. Instead, they thinned like mist touched by warmth. Sounds softened into impressions, and impressions into silence that felt full rather than empty. The heartbeat-like rhythm that had anchored the night slowed. Further, its presence becoming subtle, almost symbolic, as if it had completed its purpose. Silvara's breathing remained steady and deep. Each inhale filled her chest with cool, clean air, scented faintly with moss and damp soil. Each exhale released the last traces of tension that the night had carefully unwound. She did not stir, did not shift. There was nothing left to adjust. Her body had found its perfect alignment with rest. Above her, beyond the woven shelter of roots, the sky began its slow transformation. The stars dimmed slightly, not vanishing, but yielding space. Moonlight softened, its silver glow blending gradually with the faintest hint of blue. Within the hollow, this change arrived as a subtle lightening of shadow, a gentle thinning of darkness rather than a disruption. The forest noticed. Leaves held their positions a moment longer, as though listening for confirmation. Branches remained still, their usual murmurs absent. Even the smallest creatures seemed to pause, sensing the shift. The emerald forest, ancient and attentive, turned its awareness inward, toward the quiet figure resting at its heart. Dreams moved gently now, no longer drifting freely, but settling into calm patterns. They were not filled with images or stories, but with sensations, warmth, safety, a sense of belonging that wrapped around her consciousness like a final layer of comfort. Her dreams did not wander far. They stayed close, anchored by the steady presence of the forest. The silence deepened, but it was not absolute. It carried the faint sound of Silvara's breath, soft and rhythmic, rising and falling with effortless ease. The forest listened closely, as though her breathing were now the guiding rhythm, the new pulse to follow. Roots rested more deeply in the soil, adjusting to match her calm. The earth itself seemed to respond, settling into stillness around her dot. Time stretched again, but now it felt different. The suspended timelessness of night gave way to a slow, forward-moving calm. Dawn was approaching, not with urgency, but with patience. The forest did not rush to greet it. It allowed the night to conclude fully, honoring the rest it had provided. Within the hollow, the air grew slightly cooler, then warmer again as subtle currents shifted. Silvara remained undisturbed. Her face was relaxed, her expression peaceful, untouched by thought or concern. She had surrendered completely to rest, trusting the forest to hold her until waking was ready to arrive on its own. The roots above her filtered the changing light, turning the first hints of dawn into soft gradients that moved slowly across. The hollow pale blues blended with lingering silver, creating a gentle glow that felt more like a continuation of night than the beginning of day. Nothing here demanded awakening. Nothing pulled her back too soon. The emerald forest listened. It listened to the quiet steadiness of Silvara's breath, to the subtle shifts in her body as she rested more deeply. It listened to the calm that had settled into her, the absence of tension, the ease that now defined her presence. This listening was not passive. It was attentive, intentional, as though the forest were memorizing the moment. The echoes of the night were gone now, replaced by a silence that felt complete, not empty, not waiting to be filled, but whole in itself. Even the forest's breath seemed to pause occasionally, lingering in stillness before continuing. These pauses felt meaningful, like moments of acknowledgement. Silvara's dreams softened further, dissolving into simple awareness. She floated in a space between sleep and stillness, supported by the earth, sheltered by roots, held by silence. There was no separation between her and the forest. Now her calm had become part of its calm, her rest woven into its ancient rhythms. Far above, the sky brightened by degrees, too subtle to measure. Dawn did not announce itself. It listened first. The forest allowed the light to arrive quietly, filtering it gently, ensuring that nothing abrupt disturbed the peace below. Leaves caught the new light and held it softly. Trunks reflected it, in muted tones. The forest absorbed dawn as it had absorbed night with care. Silvara's breathing remained unchanged, deep and unhurried. The forest followed it still, letting her rhythm guide the final moments of darkness. There was a sense of completion in the air, a feeling that the night had given everything it needed to give. The hollow remained still, its ancient roots firm and protective. They had done their work, creating a space where rest could unfold without interruption. Now they remained silent witnesses to the calm they had nurtured. The earth beneath Silvara felt warm and steady, as though acknowledging her presence one last time before the transition. The first birds did not sing yet. Even they seemed to wait, honoring the quiet. The forest held dawn at its edge, allowing Silvara's rest to remain untouched. This was a moment of listening, not action. Slowly, almost tenderly, the light reached the hollow more fully. It brushed across Silvara's resting form, soft and diffused, never sharp. It did not wake her. Instead, it wrapped around her like a final blessing, sealing the night's serenity into her body and breath. The emerald forest listened to her dreams as they faded into stillness. It listened to the calm that lingered in her chest, the peace that now defined her presence. This listening felt reciprocal, as though the forest and Silvara shared a quiet understanding, a mutual acknowledgement of the rest they had given and received. The silence remained unbroken, but it had changed. It now carried the promise of gentle awakening, of a day shaped by the same calm that had defined the night. The forest did not rush toward this promise. It allowed it to exist softly, patiently. Silvara rested fully, her body and mind aligned in perfect ease. There was no lingering weight, no unfinished thought. Everything had been released into the forest's care. The night had closed around her, and now, slowly, respectfully, it withdrew as dawn continued its quiet approach. The emerald forest remained attentive. It listened to the steady rhythm of Silvara's breath, to the calm that had settled into her dreams, to the silence that now connected them both. In this shared stillness, the night was sealed, complete and undisturbed. The forest held the moment gently, preparing the soul for peaceful sleep, even as a new day waited patiently beyond the trees. Thank you for resting with whispers of the night. May the calm of the emerald forest stay with you. May your sleep be deep and gentle. May your dreams be kind and quiet. Good night and rest peacefully.